if you plant your radishes too close together, you can end up with them like this. As you can see, they've just grown right together. Now these two radish bulbs here, they'll be great to eat. And these greens are going to go awesome in a salad. They have a nice peppery taste. I'm ready to show y'all an update of the gardens for this week. Hey YouTube, SKSOUTH here. Small update on the newest garden. To the right there, right close to us, you can see a small plant in a mound. That's a yellow smooth squash, a summer squash. I moved it over from the squash bed because it was getting shadowed and just couldn't seem to make it. Then right there in the middle, you see we have a new sprout. That's the first of the new yellow squash plants that I planted here. It popped up today. And then there on the left, you see that tomato plant. That's not actually a fully rooted tomato plant. That's an offshoot of my husky cherry tomatoes over there, the ones that are producing so well. It was weak and growing out from way down at the bottom of the plant and had fallen over. So I went ahead and trimmed it off, trimmed it up, and rooted it down a little over 6 inches. Watered it in real good. We'll see if it roots and takes. I'm pretty sure it will. And as you can see, all the new cucumber plants and the bean plants on the other end are doing real well. Talk to y'all soon. Hey y'all, here it is, day 2 since I propagated that tomato plant there in the left-hand corner. It's looking kind of sad, which of course it was just cut off and stuck in the ground yesterday in hopes that it would take. Probably should have stuck it in water to try to root it, but I'm going to let it go. I've had this work before. And as you see, our newest little yellow squash plant there in the center has sprouted a 3rd leaf. And just over to the left of it, about 6 inches back towards the water hose, you see the smallest green shoot popping up of another squash plant. And then that yellow squash plant there in the corner is starting to look happier since it's been transplanted. We'll see if it jumps up and goes. Talk to y'all soon. Hey everybody, SKSOUTH here. This is week 2 of the new garden that you saw me put in a couple videos ago. In the left hand corner there, you see that tomato. Today's its 3rd day since it was pulled off a main stalk and stuck in the ground. It's not totally wilted. It seems like it's getting some nutrients, though the leaves are drooping. And if you look right along that hose, right down the center of that back side of this garden, you'll see that there's 2 brand new squash plants coming up. One of them looks like a little clamshell, the other one's still hooked over. Leaves should probably pop out sometime tonight or in the morning. And the other one, which got its 3rd leaf yesterday, now has 4 leaves and another plant popped up beside it overnight. The little transplant in the mound, that little yellow squash, it seems to be doing real well. I trimmed the dead branches off of it, and here it goes. Of course, the watermelon and cantaloupe are kind of just hanging in there right now. They've settled in, it looks like. They've grown a bit, but with these 100-degree plus temperature days we're having, they seem to have slowed their growing. They're working on surviving right now. That's okay. All they got to do is make it to the end of summer and I'll let them grow wild all fall long. They can have that whole yard to themselves. I noticed in the new cucumber plants there around those, I had some of my doubles come up. Usually I'm happy if just one of every 2 seeds in the hole comes up. And with cucumber vines, I don't prune. I let both vines come up because I've got plenty of nutrients and water for all of them. I counted and I have 16 vines there in those 3 rows. I'm going to have a lot of cucumbers. The green beans, as you can see, are just coming right up. We're going to be mulching them tomorrow evening and edging the mulch over toward the cucumber plants. And we'll also mulch under the melons and around that tomato plant. We're going to let the squash and cucumbers get up a bit higher before we mulch around them. But that open area between the 2 rows of cucumbers there, we're going to go ahead and mulch in the middle of that to help conserve our water. The tomato garden is doing real well. Matter of fact, I just picked tomatoes when I got home from work this evening. I got 8 or 10. They were almost red. We pick our tomatoes as soon as they start to turn and move them to the windowsill to keep the birds from stealing them from us, because birds love tomatoes. We've lost a few to the birds, and I don't mind that, but I want to eat tomatoes, so I pick them. Matter of fact, I just noticed that I missed one. That's a beautiful little Roma tomato. As you can see, it's still a little bit green on the top, but it's orange. After I leave it in the windowsill a couple days, it'll be really red. I'll show a picture of my windowsill. The rest of the gardens are doing great. I know some people are having troubles with their peppers and all because of the heat that we're having, but mine look a little bit droopy this evening, but they just started getting water here a little while ago. The evening watering session turned on, and they're already perking back up. Well, hey, y'all have a good evening. It's still 103 degrees out here right now, even though I am in the shade of the big, beautiful pecan tree. I'm going to head on in the house, but I will leave you with this image of new pecans. Thanks for watching. Hey y'all, SK South here. July 2nd, Monday. How you doing? Welcome to the hot weather. Well, my okra seems to be loving the hot weather, as you can see here. And right down below it, we've got a nice butternut squash coming in here. In one of the other videos, I had told y'all there was another one on this vine here. It was right there. It gave up the ghost. But here in the garden, there's a beautiful butternut squash. That was the first one to come on vine. And down there we see some Ichiban eggplant. And this eggplant is pretty prolific. I was surprised at how well these 2 plants are producing. We've already got several eggplant in the house. I picked what okra there was today. There was only a couple of pieces. There's one there that'll be ready tomorrow. There's some more over on these other plants. I was going to post this weekend about how we were picking peppers this weekend. It was so hot I hid inside all weekend long. Until last night, just before dark, we came out and picked peppers. As you see, there's not as many banana peppers on now. And the ones that are left are smaller. Although these plants are just flowering right away, they're ready to make more. My Anaheim chilies still have quite a few in them, even though I picked them last night. Here we can see some hanging out right here, and up inside the plant there, and over there, and there's some hiding back in there and down there, and there's one real close to the ground. And of course the third Anaheim plant over there is doing pretty good. It's got some too. We're still waiting on these poblano plants to come up. That one's starting to flower, but I figure it's probably going to wait until about September before those plants start doing good. Lee's got some really nice looking green peppers coming on. There's one there. There's a nice big one. There's another one up here. The newest pepper plants that you watched her plant a couple videos ago are flowering. They haven't started producing yet. But right up inside this one, you can see a very nice bell pepper there. and another one right behind it. Over here at the squash and zucchini, I've got several little zucchini coming up in there. Here in the corner, there was a yellow squash plant. It got hit by a vine borer, so it got taken out today. Plant just crumpled right up. Then in here, we have some nice yellow squash coming. And there's some zucchini up in there. Got a nice surprise today, and I'll show you over at the table in a minute. The radishes, as you can see, we planted the radishes much too close together. We've got a lot of fine greens. We don't get too many radish bulbs. But every so often I come out here and look through it and I find some radish bulbs. And I know I had told y'all we were going to take these plants up this weekend, but like I say, it was crazy hot. The onions are doing real well. We've got some nice bulbs showing above ground there. And Lee's turnips are doing awesome. There's some of the bulbs down in there. And there. And there. My carrots are staving off the turnips. But they're doing okay. Just got to keep them leaning more toward the outer part of the garden. And the carrots are coming in just fine. We picked tomatoes last night too. And I thought we'd be done picking tomatoes for a day or so. Yeah, right. As I was telling y'all before, I have to pick the tomatoes as soon as they start to turn because the birds like them. As you can see laying down there, there's a little victim of bird. So as soon as any tomatoes start showing the faintest hints of orange, so that I know they've turned and they're ready to ripen, like this one right down here, then we just take them off the vine and add them to the rest. And here at the picnic table, you can see there's a couple of nice peppers, Anaheims, that I missed last night. That's the tomatoes I've picked this afternoon. And there's them radishes I was telling you about, and the okra. Now the new garden, it's just coming right along. Those green bean plants down there are really jumped up. The cucumber plants are getting up there. The watermelon and cantaloupe still seem to be in a holding pattern. I think they're waiting for a little cooler weather. But down here at this end, we got yellow squash across that whole row. And our transplant tomato plant here, the one that I just stuck in the ground to try to root, came out this morning. These leaves were all standing up like it got watered in good all night long. So I think it's going to make it. And over at the cucumber garden, we've got cucumbers coming in. Not surprisingly, that's why we're growing them. But there's one there. If you look off in there, you might be able to see those couple three that are over there. There's one hanging right there on the side of the fence. This guy here that was poked out through the fence, I picked him last night. He was real good size. I'll show you a picture at the end of this. And here's another one coming on down on the fence. Then up inside the garden here, we've got more cucumbers coming. Love to see these cucumbers because I love cucumbers. And these are pretty long. The cucumbers that I planted over in the new garden are a different variety than these. They're the big, smooth green cucumbers. These aren't your little pickling cucumbers, but then they're not the small or the smooth eating cucumbers either. But I'll tell you what, they eat real good. I had a cucumber salad last night with a little vinaigrette, and that was just awesome. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this look out here in the hot Texas sun beneath the big beautiful pecan tree. This is SK South signing out. Till next week. I'm going to put this video together with all the others I took this week and make a little tidbits video. Have a good one, y'all.